said that they must write a letter of acknowledgement. Okay, let's start with number 2a. Right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take the plus 3 over to the left side and it becomes minus 3. Then I've got 3 over 4 x equal to negative 6. Now we did a similar one in class yesterday. I said just because it's a fraction there doesn't mean you're going to do anything different. You're going to do the same thing. So we divide with 3 over 4 on both sides. But then the trick is to remember when we divide with a fraction, we are actually going to multiply with the reciprocal. And that results in an answer of x equal to negative 8. You got it right? Good. So we're also doing some revision on fractions when we do this, ne? Okay, 7x plus 3 equal to 4x. So you can take your x's to either side. It doesn't matter. What I did is I took my 4x to the left-hand side. Okay, and then I took the plus 3 to the right-hand side. It's fine if you decided on the other side. Then you end up with 3x equal to negative 3. And when you do the division, you get an answer of x equal to negative 1. You got it right? Good. Then at C, we've got 5x minus 3 equal to 2x. I took the 2x to the left and I took the negative 3 to the right. Then I've got 5x minus 2x, which is 3x equal to 3. And I divide both sides with 3 and then x will be equal to 1. You got it right? Good. D, I took my x's to the left and my numbers to the right. Then I get 2x equal to negative 3. And then I divided both sides with 2. And then I ended up with a fraction as an answer. Is that okay? Yes, because fractions do exist. No, but don't write negative 1,5. Alright? In algebra, the instruction will be without the use of a calculator. Now, although we can cheat here or there with a calculator, if you write 1,5, that is considered a calculator answer. Okay, so you can write negative 1½ as a fraction. Or you can write negative 3 over 2, but not negative 1,5. You don't have to mark it wrong, but just write it next to it and remember it. You got it right, negative 3 over 2. Good. E, I've got x plus 3 equal to 2x minus 5. I take the x to the right and the minus 5 to the right, to the left, and then I get x equal to 8. You got it right? F had some distributive law, so the 4 multiplies in with the 3x and with the 2, ne? And here negative 3 multiplies in with 2x, and remember the number multiplying with negative 1 must be negative 3, okay, not just the 3. And then it becomes 12x plus 8 minus 6x plus 3. Did you get that? Okay, then my x's are already on the same side. I say 12x minus 6x is 6x, and then I've got a minus 1 here. I take the plus 3 over, it becomes minus 3. I take the plus 8 over, it becomes minus 8. And I'm left with 6x equal to negative 12. Then I divide both sides with 6, and x is equal to negative 2. You got it right? Good. Another distributive law. 2 times x is 2x, 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 1 is 3. Then I took my x's to the right and my numbers to the left, then I've got x equal to negative 5. Okay, at h I've got a half x, and this one you can make a star there. It was a little bit tricky, especially with that half fraction in the mix here. So I'm starting with the distributive law when negative 1 has to multiply in with both terms inside. Remember, our first step would always be to get rid of the bracket before we can go on. Okay? So we can't do what's inside of the bracket, so therefore we use the distributive law, and then it looks like that. Now, I wrote here on both sides, if, for instance, you decided to leave the x's on the left-hand side, You must just be careful with your calculation of what is a half minus 1. If you took it to the right hand side, your x's, you would have x minus a half x. Now, although we're doing the same sum, maybe that is just a little bit easier for you, because what is 1 minus a half? It's a half. Nee? I also drew a number line here. If you're at a half and you have to subtract 1, which is what you would have done on this side, if you go back 1, it will put you at negative a half. Alright. You can also, like for instance there, cheat with your calculator to just check it. But you need to have the knowledge that when you add and subtract terms, you're only going to add and subtract the coefficients. You're going to say a half minus 1. Does that make sense? Right. Then I end up with negative a half x equal to 1 plus 1, which is going to be 2. If you did it to the other side, you'll have negative 2 is equal to a half x. And now I need to divide that coefficient. I divide with negative a half on both sides, so here it cancels out. And then once again the trick, when I divide with a half, I have to multiply with its reciprocal. And sometimes we make a mistake with this one. When we say 4 divided by a half, we for some reason think we are dividing with 2. Okay, remember, dividing with a fraction is multiplying with the reciprocal. Okay, so it's swapped around. And therefore, it's a positive 2 times a negative 2 to give me negative 4. That one was quite tricky. Who got it right? Well done. Okay, then we go to I. This one is similar to that one that we did in class. We spoke about this. What is x times x is going to be x squared. X plus x is 2x. So this x times this x will be x squared. X times 1 is x. Minus x times x will be minus x squared. And minus x times 2 will be minus 2x. And then it's just a plus 4. So in this one, I already have all my x's on the same side. But 1x squared minus 1x squared. Remember, when we add and subtract, only the coefficients. So 1 minus 1 is 0. That means there's nothing left. So you got rid of these two x squareds by subtracting them. Does that make sense? Okay. Then I'm left with x minus 2x, which gives me minus x. And I took that plus 4 to the other side, it became minus 4. And then I'm dividing both sides with a negative, and x will be equal to 4. We've got that one right. Good. Can I page? You're still busy. Some people are still busy. Okay. Then we go on to the last one. It had fractions in again. So I've got a quarter times x will be a quarter x. And a quarter times 8 is just going to be 8 divided by 4, which gives me 2. Then I have a half minus a half x. And then remember, it's minus a half being multiplied with minus 6. That gives me positive 3 equal to 2. Okay. Now, if I take a quarter minus a half, once again, you can cheat with your calculator, but it's really not necessary because we've done fractions, né? We know how to subtract. I can have 1 over 4 minus 1 over 2. I get my denominators the same, then it's 1 over 4 minus 2 over 4, and that gives me negative a quarter. Okay. So I end up with negative a quarter, and then I have the 2 on that side, the plus 3 becomes minus 3, and the plus 2 becomes minus 2. Then I'm left with negative a quarter x equal to negative 3. I divide both sides with negative a quarter. Here, when I divide with a fraction, I multiply with its reciprocal, and my answer will therefore be 12. Okay, so let's just quickly talk about the test we're writing on Monday. I said it's going to be on algebra, so it's this work, solve for x and substitution. And now I'm going to give you a revision worksheet on the algebra expressions. Now, if you think about that, if you remember that again, that is when you don't have an equal to sign. So it's the same type of sum, you just don't have an equal to sign. And then you add the like terms, the ones that are the same, and then you just stop. If there's nothing more that you can do, then you just stop. Okay, so we did a very big part of it in the second term. All right, but it does feature in the third term's planning. Therefore, it can be in the September exams as well, although we already finished it in the second term. So we are going to do that page for revision today, and then we are going to mark it and so on, so you will be on top of it with the expressions as well. So it's the algebraic expressions, the algebraic equations, and then also substitution. That's what we have so far. All right. I am going to put it here on the board. I have printed it for you. I will just go and check if it has already been printed. But you can start with this so long. Do you see these sums? They look familiar, no? Okay, so we don't find the answer of the variable. We just simplify it. Is it big enough? Can I make it a bit bigger more? Let me make it bigger. Okay. So there's just addition and subtraction, there's some distributive laws, there's multiplication, there's distributive and addition and so on. Then we have the square root, and then it's going to be the division. So you can start with this. If you want to, you can leave a page open where you're going to paste this page, because I have copied it for you. Or you can just paste it afterwards, however you want. And you can write revision as a heading. Revision algebraic expressions or whatever. I'm quickly going to check if it has been copied.